This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting. Brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, August 31st. In PodPod, word of mouth is still the best podcast promotion tool, and that's from a study from Sounds Profitable. We know them. The study, The Podcast Landscape, was covered this morning in PodPod, and it was built from a survey of 2,400 people in the U.S., ages 18 and up. The research found 55% of respondents discover new podcasts through word-of-mouth recommendations. 25% of respondents find new podcasts through a recommendation from another podcast host. And social media recommendations from other well-known influencers also proved more effective than sponsored posts or ads run through the podcast's own social media accounts. 67% of respondents said they're more likely to discover a new podcast through recommendations from influencers. In Digiday, new podcast studies showing growth in ad spend and listeners suggest the bubble hasn't burst. In a collection of various studies surrounding podcasting, Digiday takes a snapshot of where podcasting currently stands. Westwood One and Cumulus Media's advertiser perception study shows almost 60% of agencies and advertisers currently buy podcast ads, up from 34% in 2020. Media Radar reports U.S. podcast ad spend has grown 5% year over year, and the same study found true crime podcasts specifically experienced a 26% year over year ad spend increase, while comedy saw 10% growth. And The Hollywood Reporter tells us PBS Kids expands their podcasting slate with the launch of Jamming on the Job featuring 123 Andre. Continuing the August trend of popular children's IP getting podcasts, PBS Kids announces 3 new and returning shows. The 3rd season of the Arthur podcast is set for November 9th. The show, launched just after the cancellation of the long-running TV series, adapts stories from the show's 27-year run, with new narration from Arthur and a recurring Q&A segment. In addition to continuing a legacy PBS series in podcast form, kids music duo 123 Andre are set to host Jammin' on the Job, a musical show designed to teach kids aged 4 to 8 about different careers, like podcasting. Next January, popular preschool series Work It Out Wombats will get a companion podcast in Playdate with the Wombats, centered around creating interactive playdates with the TV series' main characters. And for the rest of the news, the Washington Post covers the utility of podcasts as background noise for listeners with ADHD. MarketingBrew covers a WARC report saying global ad spend will exceed $1 trillion in 2024. MediaPost covers a study showing 45% of advertisers in the US and UK haven't changed their ad strategy in 5 years. And Ad News reports Q2 digital audio ad spend in Australia is up 14% year over year. And I'm pleased to have been able to say the phrase "work it out wombats" today. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and me. Our show is hosted on Art19. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Tom Webster. Download us again tomorrow.